In the headlines, President Muhammadu Buhari approves postponement of 2023 census. New Nigeria People's Party accuses Ganduje's government of undermining transition in Kano State. 74 Zamfara State abducted victims regain freedom after payment of 6 million naira. And on the foreign scene, airstrikes, artillery continue as Sudan fighting enters third week. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Now the news in detail. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the postponement of the 2023 population and housing census, earlier scheduled for 3rd to 7th of May 2023, to a date to be determined by the incoming administration. The president gave the approval after meeting with some members of the Federal Executive Council and the chairman of the National Population Commission and his team at the presidential villa in Abuja on Friday. Statement from the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said in arriving at the decision to postpone the census, the meeting reiterated the critical need for the conduct of a population and housing census 17 years after the last census to collect up-to-date data that will drive the developmental goals of the country and improve the living standard of the Nigerian people. The president noted that with the completion of the enumeration area demarcation of the country, conduct of first and second pre-tests, the recruitment and training of ad hoc workers, procurement of personal digital assistance and ICT infrastructure, appreciable progress has been made in the implementation of the 2023 population and housing census. He also commended the methodology being put in place by the Commission to conduct accurate and reliable census, especially the massive deployment of technology that is capable of delivering world-class census and laying a sustainable basis for the future censuses. The Kano State New Nigeria People's Party Governorship Transition Committee is accusing the state government of sabotage in ensuring a smooth transition come May 29, 2023. Addressing a news conference the chairman of the committee, Bafa Bichi, told reporters that since the inauguration of the committee early this month, they have been trying to reach out to the government committee to no avail. According to the chairman, the NNPP Transition Committee have failed to secure the attention of the state government, has now resolved to commence a special engagement with all permanent secretaries, heads of departments and directors of personnel of all the 44 local government areas of the state, with a view to obtaining all the necessary information to help the smooth transition of power.
The efforts that we are making to ensure a smooth transfer of power and the active non-cooperation and outright resistance that we are encountering from the outgoing government of Abdullahi Umar Ganduje. On the 3rd of April, we wrote a letter to the chairman of the government committee, who is also the secretary to the state government, formally notifying them of the formation of the gubernatorial transition committee and asking them for a joint meeting rather than replying our letter and honoring our request for a joint meeting. We were surprised to receive a letter on the 4th of April from the government asking us to provide the names of 3 persons to join the government committee. We were made to understand that the thinking of the outgoing government is that there should be a joint transition committee in which the outgoing government should have 80% of the membership, while the incoming government should have 20% of the membership. Given the outright refusal of Governor Ganduje to inaugurate his transition committee and their inability to meet with our committee to agree on the modalities for the transition process, we are compelled by circumstances to, on behalf of the incoming administration of His Excellency Engineer Abba Kabir Yusuf, to invite all permanent secretaries in the civil service to attend an interaction with the gubernatorial transition committee.
Meanwhile, the Kano State government is yet to comment on the matter. Moving on to more stories, some senators-elect formerly known or family members of the Forum of House of Representatives say the group has not endorsed any candidate for the position of the President of Senate. Convener of the group and SDP Senator-elect for Nasarawa West, Ahmed Wadada, made this known while briefing newsmen after a meeting with members of the forum in Abuja on Friday. Wadada said the forum is yet to declare its support for any candidate. He listed Governor Aminu Tambuwal, who is also now a senator-elect, former House of Representatives members Abdul Ningi, and the Senate President Ahmed Lawang among members of the forum.
No discussion whatsoever about anybody's candidature yet. When we get to the bridge, we cross it. With the support of my colleagues, I have the privilege of convening the former House of Representatives members that are senators-elect today, for us to unite ourselves for the good of the country, devoid of our different political parties and all the so-called sentiments being talked about. We have decided to come together because we had experienced it before. Distinguished Senator Ojikadu was a member of the 3rd Assembly. Some of us were members of the 4th Assembly. For the 5th Assembly, Senator Osita Izinaso was my colleague. We were members of the 5th and the 6th Assembly, 7th Assembly, Honorable Dixon, and then quite a number of, we're about 25, 26, and that gives a good block for us to come together, talk to ourselves. That camaraderie that we had at different times of the House of Representatives is to be rejuvenated for the good of Nigeria.
Moving on to security, 74 out of the 96 abducted members of Wanzame village at Zafi local government area of Zamfara state have regained freedom after payment of 6 million naira ransom to the abductors. The resident of the troubled village disclosed that the abductors released 74, killed 2 victims and held back 20 persons in captivity. Reports say many of the 74 victims brought into the village were taken to a private hospital for medical screening as they could not walk properly as a result of the suffering the abductors had subjected them to. 96 persons were said to have been abducted in the affected village, but one of the victims later escaped, leaving 95 victims behind. The abductors are insisting that families of the victims must add more money before they will free the remaining 20 persons still in captivity. It would be recalled that on Friday, 7th April, suspected terrorists invaded Wanzame village and abducted 96 women and children to an unknown location, demanding 3 million naira ransom, which families of the victims paid to them. The abducted Federal Commissioner of National Population Commission for Bayelsa State, Gloria Uzomfor, has been released. She was kidnapped Sunday evening along with her maid and driver at Ogbakiri Junction on the East-West Road. While details surrounding her release are still sketchy, reports say she was released after spending 5 days in the kidnappers' den. Confirming the release, the spokesperson for the Rivers State Police Command, Grace Iringe Koko, said she was released on Friday along with her driver and maid, adding that they have been reunited with their families. Iringe Koko, however, declined to confirm whether or not any ransom was paid to secure Izomfor's release. Izomfor was kidnapped around Ogbakiri in a Mohwa local government area of Rivers State on her way back from Bayelsa, where she had gone on a trip. Still on security, police operatives in Kano State have intercepted 4 AK-47 rifles from criminals along Kano-Bauchi Road. This is contained in a statement signed by the Command Public Relations Officer, Abdullahi Haruna Kiawa, on Friday. He said the rifles were recovered by a Safer Highway Patrol team while conducting intelligence-led stop-and-search operations at Kwanar Garko in Garko local government area of the state. He added that a search of the sack revealed that it contained 4 AK-47 rifles. He urged residents of the state to be more security conscious and report suspicious persons or items to nearest police stations. A 35-year-old suspected local gun fabricator, Kazim Folaji, has been arrested and paraded by the Nigeria police in Osun State. The suspect, Folaji, according to the police spokesperson, Yemisi Opalola, was arrested based on the decision of the command to clamp down on local gun fabricators and runners. Opalola also revealed on Friday that the suspect was arrested in Ejibo local government area on Sunday. She added that he confessed during interrogation that the fabricated gun in his possession at the time of his arrest was made by his associate, who is now in prison. Meanwhile, the suspect said his major business is the fabrication of keys and hose, adding that he had never been involved in the fabrication of local guns. 5 persons have lost their lives in a fatal motor accident along Amasoma Tombia Road in Yenagoa local government area of Bayelsa State. Daily Trust gathered that the accident, which occurred on Friday evening, was a head-on collision between a Mazda car and a black Toyota SUV. The Mazda car was said to be conveying about 7 passengers, some believed to be students of Niger Delta University from Amasoma, Southern Ijaw local government area to Yenagoa, the state capital. 4 passengers in the Mazda car were said to have died immediately, while 1 was rescued alive and taken to a Niger Delta University teaching hospital in Okolobiri. The cause of the accident is not ascertained as at the time of filing the report, but police authorities in Bayelsa State say they are investigating the cause of the crash as well as arresting the fleeing driver of the SUV car. Police spokesman in Bayelsa State, SP Asinim Butswat, who confirmed the road crash, said the corpses of the victims have been evacuated and deposited at the Niger Delta University Teaching Hospital for autopsy. You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break. Why some FCT residents prefer second-hand products. We take a look at that when we come back.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Trust News Update, a recap of our top stories. We told you that President Muhammadu Buhari approves postponement of 2023 census. You also heard that New Nigeria People's Party accused Ganduje's government of undermining transition in Kano State. Now moving to education, the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board is conducting the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination for the blind and other disabled persons in Jos, the Plateau State capital. According to the board, the exam is organized for the disabled persons to enable them have equal opportunity with other candidates. Ado Musa completes the report.
These are 20 blind and disabled candidates who are writing the 2023 UTME at the Jos Center, located at the University of Jos, through what is called Equal Opportunity Group. The Equal Opportunity Group was initiated by JAMB to give opportunity to blind and other disabled persons to participate in the UTME like other normal candidates. Professor Nasiru Maiturare, coordinator of Equal Opportunity Group, Jos Center, further explains why the JAMB came up with the initiative.
Examination, is challenging on its own. And when candidates, have certain disabilities, it becomes doubly challenging. And especially, in countries like Nigeria, whereby students, from their secondary schools, do not usually have, excellent opportunities, for when they have disabilities. It has always impeded against the performance of such candidates. And so in 2017, the current registrar of JAMB, Professor Isaac Oloede, came up with this initiative, that is JAMB Equal Opportunity Group, to create a level playing field, for candidates with disabilities.
Some of the candidates also speak on the exercise.
I'm grateful to JAMB for organizing this special treatment for persons living with disability, the visually impaired people. I'm grateful to them for the hospitality, the preferential treatment.
I am so much impressive for the examination we have written thus far, beginning yesterday and today. And then the examination moved well, and we thank God for the examination.
The exams is well arranged. Although it is my first time to start writing JAMB, I've never witnessed the other times as past. But this time around, good provision of the readers that they provide for us. So I want to appreciate JAMB for providing this type of people.
The candidate also suggests ways to improve the process.
Okay, yes, I would want them to reduce the cutoff mark for persons living with disability from 300 to maybe 220 or 230, so that we can be able to get the scholarships. And then they should give us the courses that we applied for instead of giving us a different course.
Yes, there's a lot of improvement that I want JAMB to do. I want JAMB now to ensure that when we finish writing the JAMB like this, and then institution that we apply, JAMB should give us high attention in helping us so that the institution can be able to offer us the admission and then the course we want to study.
In terms of reading, I observed that several novels that we have in literature, we don't have it in Braille. And even though that we have it in Braille, some of us, they can't read Braille perfectly. So, if possible, I would like JAMB to provide all these novels through audio, so that somebody that cannot read Braille, he can be able to play, or through his phone or some devices like recorder. He will be listening and understanding.
About 360 blind and disabled candidates are expected to write this year's UTME at 11 centers across the country to enable them enroll for higher education. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
The purchase of second-hand goods is on the increase, not only in the Federal Capital Territory, but across the nation. Trust TV's Kabir Lawal takes a look at the increase in purchase of second-hand goods in the FCT and what may be driving the huge patronage. The report.
Second-hand goods used to be an alternative for new ones, mostly among low-income earners, as they are always more affordable. patronage was relatively low, since many Nigerians could not afford not too exorbitant new ones. However, due to the economic situation of the country, second-hand goods are now being patronized not just because they are affordable, but because the purchasing power of many Nigerians has been whittled down by inflation.
The second-hand materials presently in this country is more solid than the current materials they are importing for us now. That is why we are going into for the second-hand material products. Yes, really, because of the quality. And it's what we are doing majority, at least 80% of our products here is what we form by former iron and steel products than the new ones. Because if you watch the fabrication, it's not as standard as the former ones we used to get in our local markets.
So I will trust on the person that want to sell it, so there's no problem with that. But like, if you don't know the person, because this life now, this Nigeria now, things are very hard somehow.
Market in the Federal Capital Territory explained that the most indigenous companies don't produce durable goods, hence the resolve by many to patronize second-hand foreign goods, which they say last longer.
So
One of the reasons why people patronize second-hand products here is because of its quality. The quality differs and makes it stand out compared to the new ones. Some companies don't have consistency in terms of standard. That is why they go for the second-hand goods. People patronize second-hand products as a result of the economic hardship in the country. Most goods are being brought here for sale, not because it is obsolete, but due to one financial constraint being faced by the sellers. Some buyers said most times they are lucky to buy goods from those that are traveling outside the country or those that have problems that need urgent financial attention. Most people sell their goods, especially when they are traveling out of the country. The seller will call on us to estimate the amount of goods, which will of course will not be sold at exorbitant prices. And that's where we make our little stipend to keep food for me and my family. The purchase of second-hand goods, many believe, is on the increase in the country as a result of the economic hardship being faced by the people in the country. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
On the foreign scene, sounds of airstrikes, anti-craft weaponry and artillery were heard in Khartoum early Saturday, with dark smoke rising over parts of the city as fighting in Sudan entered a third week. Fighting between the army and a rival paramilitary force continued despite the announcement of a 72-hour ceasefire extension on Friday, when strikes by air tanks and artillery rocked Khartoum and the adjacent city of Bahri and Omdurman. Hundreds have been killed and tens of thousands have fled for their lives in a power struggle between the army and the paramilitary rapid support forces that erupted into violence on April 15, derailing an internationally backed transition towards democratic elections. At least 512 people have been killed and close to 4,200 wounded, according to the United Nations, which believes the real toll is much higher. And finally, in sports, Remo Stars successfully defended their NPFL La Liga Under-15 title following a 1-0 victory against Plateau United in the final on Friday. Okpayemi Yusuf scored the decisive goal on the 51st minute. It was Yusuf's 10th goal in the competition. Plateau United fought hard but were unable to get back into the game. It was the second meeting between both teams in the competition after Remo Stars defeated Plateau United 2-1 in the group stage. Earlier in the day, Sunshine Stars defeated El Kanemi Warriors 1-0 to claim the third position. And with that, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.